What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Right here before me is my new 1995 Honda Civic Hatchback. Now, today is actually the first day I've really gotten a chance to go over this car. I bought it about maybe 3 weeks ago, and it's kind of been just sitting in the garage. I haven't really been able to get a chance to go over it, so today I'm going to just take you around it, show you what it's looking like, show you what the issues are, and basically what my plans are going to be for this thing. Now, I'm used to owning a lot of the EF models, and I'm very familiar with that chassis and how that wiring is. So this project is going to be a little new for me, but I know a lot of it is the same. I know these cars came OBD1, which is great for tuning, which is another aspect on why I grabbed this thing, other than it being so cheap. It's a 1995 Civic Hatchback CX model. Now, I'm assuming a lot of you guys know that CX is a lower grade model. It doesn't come with most of the upper level trims that the SI came with, and even the DX. As you can see on the door panel, it has no door moldings. It does not have a sunroof. Just basically nothing fancy, or it's a very basic car. Now, it did come with AC, and the AC does work. Just giving you guys a good shot of the body. And I will mention this, the car does have a significant amount of rust. You know, coming from the East Coast, especially up by Connecticut, unfortunately these cars are affected by the weather, and a lot of the times people don't have garages and these cars sit outside, and as you can see, they can really get abused. So any little small dings or dents, anything that can chip the paint eventually forms rust spots, and when you're in the wrong area, these can really affect your car. Now, this car was actually stolen from the previous owner. I would be the third owner, so it was stolen from the second owner. He managed to get it back and had to replace a lot of the interior pieces. Now, I think the interior is in decent shape. Door panels are black. I do not think the CX model came with black door panels. He had mentioned he replaced the dash. So the dash is actually from an automatic. The cluster is automatic. Pretty clean. Unfortunately, there's a few cracks in the dash, and some of the paneling around the cluster is broken. I'll go over to that side to show you. But overall, the interior is not bad. I believe he replaced the seats from another EG. Back seats are decently clean. Carpet is black. Needs a good scrub down. But the back panels are actually gray, which is what the CX model came with, the color-wise, for interior. So like I said, relatively clean. Steering wheel's in decent shape, but it's got like the rubber where it's kind of falling apart. So there's some definitely some cracking, and some of the panels are all split. Over here, this is broken. But overall, the interior is honestly not in bad shape for what it is. The quarters are definitely where most of the attention is needed. But I think I can work with this. Kind of weird, I guess this came out of like an EX, because the CX hatch never had power mirrors or a sunroof at that matter. Then this definitely came out of either an SI dash or a EX coupe. I don't know if they're interchangeable. But yeah, this is what I'm working with, guys. So very, very new and excited project. It is, I will show you under the hood in 1 second. It is a project definitely that I'm gonna have to take some time and put some money into. Suspension wise, from what I've checked out, definitely gonna need ball joints in the front, control arms, all that stuff, upper control arms. I do have a lot of that new already. I'm gonna do the wheel bearings. I'm basically gonna bring this thing back to a daily driver. Now, I wanna show you what's under the hood, and I'll explain in detail just what's going on with that setup. Gotta pull this cable, it's not even hooked up, it's all broken. At least it still works though. I do remember the one nice thing about EGs is you can actually prop the hood up to a basically maintenance position where you're able to, you could pull the engine out and have no issues with hood clearance or anything like that. And then you have the regular, you know, normal stance for the hood. So anyway, D15B, I believe, I gotta double check. The owner did have to replace this engine before me, the previous owner, but it was replaced basically with the same engine. Honestly, it runs like crap. I think the timing is off because it jumps in RPM and it stalls. He actually mentioned I'm probably gonna have to check the timing. So gonna have to go over a few things. The main thing I want to concentrate on is this thing needs a wash in the worst way. I want to scrub this engine bay. I want to get all the grease off of it before I really start working on it. This thing looks like it's been sitting for so long, just under trees and just collecting a lot of dust. I bet it's happy to be in a garage, but I think overall, this is a nice platform to work with. It does need a lot of work as far as body paneling and body work. I don't know if I mentioned, the quarter panels I do have, and I actually have a new fender for this side. The other fender's good. I gotta really mess with this car, and I just haven't had the time, but I'm definitely gonna start digging into it and getting some footage. I just wanted to introduce this new platform to the channel. You guys are used to me working on my EFs, but I decided to change it up, get something a little different. I do have a little bit of a surprise coming up in the next video that's gonna kind of explain why I jumped on this for the money I did, even though it was definitely not worth much more than what I paid for sure. And I'll tell you this, I paid under $1,000 for this because honestly, the amount of work this needs and the amount of attention it needs, it's definitely not worth more than that. But these cars are getting hard to find. I'm very grateful for the fact that I was able to get it home from Connecticut. Every time I get in this thing and drive it, I'm like, wow, how did I manage to drive this home? The wheel bearings are all screwed up. The tires are in need of replacing. Just the suspension is shot on this thing. So definitely eager to jump into this and start tearing it apart and just making it usable again. I am going to have to get it registered because obviously I can't drive it once it's mobile again. And the one thing I'm going to look forward to as far as changing body-wise is I would like to go back to OEM stock taillights. For some reason, I'm just not a big fan of these, I don't even know what you would call these Altezza 5050s, I believe. Not ugly, not terrible, but not my style. On these hatches, I like to keep them very OEM. I always like the OEM look that came on the Hondas. The taillights are always, I don't know, they fit so well for these cars. So I'm gonna pull this thing out, get it all cleaned up, and show you some before and after shots. that pretty much sums it up for the 95 hatch, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm very excited to get started on this car. I know it needs a lot of work, but I'm very ready and willing to put in the work to make this thing something special. Like I said, I do have some plans for it, kind of why I purchased this thing as well. I want to just give you a quick shot of the engine bay, how it looks now. So I wouldn't consider this professional in any way, but what a difference a little degreaser can make. I didn't have a scrub brush, so I didn't get all the crevices and corners, but I just wanted to get basically the top layer of grime off. I let the degreaser do its thing, let it sit for a few minutes, and I was able to really get a nice shine out of the bay. So this is definitely, I don't know if you guys can see, D15B, there's no number after the B. Not a big deal. Most likely this engine is going to be coming out, and I'll show you next week what's going in. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'm very excited for this. I got a lot of plans for this thing, so stay tuned. I want to say thank you for tuning in. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you enjoy the content, consider subscribing. I got a lot of footage I want to put out on all my cars. So thank you for watching and being introduced to the new platform. Take care, guys. Have a good one and be safe.